Hi there, it's Laura. Welcome back to the Hyperstamper channel, and this is today's antique junk journal. Now, this is a book that was just in terrible shape. It was all bleached out, and the spine was bleached, and I did a little bit of repair work on the spine to save it. But it's just a stunning cover, and I love the worn bits, but it's called Favorite Poems, and it's got this beautiful Pegasus here with the gold flowers. Look at the embossing on that. Isn't that beautiful? And the design is exquisite. I put some vintage crochet around it to cover up the condition on the back and the spine. And then I added some of these vintage and Art Deco beads that I've collected to match. And I filled it with antique ephemera and nothing but, no commercial products. And I'm about to put it in my Etsy shop, but I wanted to give you a little tour of it first and see if it's something you might like. Now, the size of this little sweetie is 5 by 7.5, so it's a good size. And it is from 1886. Can you believe that? The first page is here and the publication date down at the bottom here. And I love that it's from the Private Library of Ellen Schaefer from Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's really special. I love this original cover plate here. It's beautiful. This is a song portfolio here, music sheet portfolio, and that is an antique piece there. The girl on the little blue plate. This is a 1930s student's paper on how to write letters, which is pretty sweet. These are vintage photo corners, and this is a photo from the 1920s, and it says, "Watching the tennis tournament on the grass." And then there was a picture on the back, but it is gone. So this is on an original photo album, antique photo album, black paper page here. So if you had a gel pen, you could journal on there or add your own little bits and pieces to that. This is another antique book page here, animal storybook, 1950s receipt there that you can journal on front and back. And then this came from a sweet 1940s magazine, and this was the mounting of a piece of artwork that I turned into tags. Now, this is something I have never ever found in a book before, but it just fell out of this book as I was getting it ready, and it's actually a lock of hair. At first I thought it might be doll hair, but it's actual hair. How cool is that? I just think it's neat. I've never seen that before, so pretty special. But I was tempted to keep it, but I wanted it to live with the book. It's probably been in for 100 years. Here is a little transportation ticket from England. It's a vintage bird page here, the robin and the starling. I've got some of my pressed flowers glued onto this vintage page here. And this is the original first plate of the book, still under tissue or onion paper there. And it's called The Brave Old Oak. It's this beautiful plate of an oak tree there. Love it. This here is the wonderful blue jay, which I have many of on my property. English sparrow over here, more antique book pages. This is from the 1920s here. One of these wonderful, wonderful dress fasteners or snaps, size 0. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Now, this here is when I was repairing the book. This came out of the interior spine, and if you can see it, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's got the embossing of the original name of the book, The Favorite Poems, which was on the spine here. So I turned it into a belly band. I just think it's wonderful. The rest of that student's page and the folio, look how fun that is. Just wonderful. This is from a vintage book, Storyteller Poems, 1948. Vintage children's book page here, fun clusters. This is another interior spine of a very old antique book. And this is one of the pages from this book here. Look at the beautiful pattern on there. So you can journal on that as well, or use it for one of your own art pieces inside. Here is just a wonderful plate from a 1940s children's storybook there. And that is all on top of a vintage atlas page. And I've put a little piece up here for you to journal on. And then this is a hand-typed research paper. And it doesn't have a date on it, but it is over 100 years old. So that's very, very cool. And the yellow paper. Don't see that very often. And here is a feather that I just put in because it sort of reminded me of the Pegasus wings here, which I liked. And 1930s children's book page here, lovely little girl swimming on a fish. This is from a vintage botanical wildflower book. Another antique book page here, which is just lovely. Look at the kangaroo here. And this is a 1962 ledger page. So that's 61 years old, 62 years old. This is from the 1890s. It is a guard's or a watchman's dial that would have tracked their working hours. And this is just a wonderful antique page here in our time that you can journal on as well. And then this here is fabulous from the 1800s as well. You can journal all through here. A pretty little image of a girl or an angel reading a book, and a preface from the book there. Fun little pocket here. And then this is the Archduchess of Austria from 1937. That one there, you can journal on the back. I put antique paper there for you. More children's book pages. That's from the 30s. This one here is from the early 1900s, and this here is from the 1940s. It's just fun. You can do whatever you like with it, but this would be an iron-on needle point pattern, and it is of cars. So there we go, the 1903 Cadillac and the 1908 Ford. Is that fun? I've never seen the car ones before, so I thought that was really cool. So maybe it was for a man's towel, hand towel. That's pretty neat. So have fun with that. I wrap my journals in vintage pattern paper when I send them out. So that's kind of, that made me think of that. A wonderful art collection here. These are alphabet, almost stencil-like. Ombre, Leckman. And this here is awesome. I think you're gonna like this, from 1895. It's a very cool page. Look at the size of this one. You've got the wallpaper samples down here, these wonderful ads, and more on the back. Look at this cape. Oh my gosh, isn't that wonderful? It just goes on and on. So really special. That one's cool. Put that back up here. And then more children's pages from vintage books. 1950s crochet piece. We've got a early 1900s bird book there. A tag here made out of a design book from the 1930s. And or a vintage page here. It's dated in the 40s. There's another research page here, handwritten, pen and ink. A vintage dictionary page, letter V. And then this is a early 1900s postcard here. Isn't that cool? And this is mounted onto an antique postcard album page. And I turned this antique page here into a pocket and added this 1950s baby card. And it's just absolutely sweet, but you can journal on the inside as well. And then here is a really cool piece from the catalog, 1927 catalog. It's a little brittle, but it is on this side all the different cottons and fabrics you can order, and on this side as well. So really, really cool. It's really fun to look at the prices. There we go. Again, that's very brittle, so it may crack, but you can do lots of fun things with it. This is a 1950s teenage music book page here, and that was sort of been like the vintage version of our, say, Teen Beat. Do they still have that? I don't think they do. I think I just aged myself. And that brings us to the end of the book, the last page there. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. You can see them as they come out by getting notifications, but don't forget to subscribe and come back soon.